All right, so welcome everyone. This is Arshia, and I am volunteering with Agility Redefined. And today I'm going to be covering the summary of this book written by Robin Sharma. It's called The 5 a.m. Club. If you have already read this book, great. Uh, so if you have already read this book, still, this call will be helpful for you because I have made some very, very important notes, which are like key takeaways from this book, which you can, start to immediately apply, and I'll try to keep it very simple. So about the book, the tagline of this book is basically how you can own your morning and be able to elevate your life. So there are two important questions to consider here. Who wants to become a billionaire? What is the secret of becoming a billionaire? So the answer to this question can be different for different individuals. Not everyone wants to become a billionaire, right? Because if everyone wants to become a billionaire, then they'll put all that efforts into that, and there is nothing that can stop you. Now, becoming a billionaire is not the ultimate goal of everyone's life. This can also mean, what is it that you want to achieve in your life. For most of us, it is, earning enough money so that we don't have to worry about the future of our kids, the future of, our own self when we grow old. So this book is all about what is the secret of becoming a billionaire. So there must be one, because if we all knew how to get there, surely everybody would have $1 billion by now. But the truth is that there is no singular secret to success. Everyone employs different methods on their road to achieving their dreams. And in the case of one very successful billionaire, that secret was starting his day at 5 a.m. In fact, he was so confident in this method that he attributed all his success to that one simple practice instead of his natural business acumen or the hours he has invested in his company. And fortunately for us, it's not a secret. Through the course of this summary, we'll learn how to join what he called the 5 a.m. club and why it can revolutionize our life. We'll even take a look at some interesting facts like why slowing down your brain is so important, why early mornings are key for jumpstarting your day, and what a successful morning routine looks like. The chapter 1 of this book talks about a club called 5 a.m. Club. Have you heard of these breakfast clubs where, business executives meet and they have conversations about what's next for their business venture? The second question is, can the secret to becoming a billionaire be simple? So becoming a billionaire is not easy, and we may think of it as a very complicated path. But let me tell you, the secret to becoming a billionaire can be simple if we follow these things. So for the purpose of this summary, let's imagine a group of people, and let's say their roles are similar to those of the members of the breakfast club. We have an entrepreneur who feels his life lacks purpose. We have a frustrated artist who is trying to spark their creativity. And last but not the least, we have a billionaire mentor, a wacky character with some unconventional success secrets to share. So let's say they all meet at a professional conference, which centers around a keynote speaker known as the spellbinder, a business guru renowned for his ability to captivate audiences and impart life changing success tips. So, this is the setup for the chapter 1. So, following the keynote speech, the billionaire approaches our artist and entrepreneur in disguise. So, rather than dressing like a billionaire, he was, in fact, severely underdressed for the occasion. But this too was part of a calculated strategy to remind himself and others that money isn't everything and that you can't judge someone's wealth or worth by their appearance. He often dressed as though he was very poor indeed. Given his appearance, you can imagine the others' surprise when he told them that he'd made a fortune by following the spellbinder's advice and that the spellbinder was actually his personal mentor. Already intrigued, the two listened as he told them how the spellbinder had taught him that many people want extraordinary things to happen to them, but that truly great people understand they can create those extraordinary events themselves. So, when he told them that the key to unlocking an extraordinary future lay in one tip that was more important than anything else, They couldn't wait to find out what it was. So they were given even more surprised when he told them that the secret was as simple as crafting a world-beating morning routine. But when the billionaire offered to teach them everything he knew the next day if they met him at 5 a.m., they jumped at the chance, and that's how their journey began. So in the second chapter, we see the title says elite performers get up at 5 a.m. because they were curious to know what is the secret they get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. So the two questions to consider in this chapter is, are you used to getting up early in the morning? If not, how we can build that habit? And can multitasking really help you get done more? So coming to the summary of this chapter, like most of us, our artist and entrepreneur were not used to getting up that early in the morning. And they listened blearily as their new mentor told them that getting up at 5 a.m. had taught him to break free of the mediocrity that so easily ensnares people. He also informed them that rising at this hour had enabled a number of successful people to revolutionize their productivity and rise to the top of their game, including such notable greats as Mozart and John Grisham. And here is why it works. We all have a limited amount of mental energy for each day. Think of it as your cognitive bandwidth. That limited bandwidth gets occupied by a variety of conflicting sources throughout the day. From the moment you wake up, everything from your job and your relationships to the news and the social media are demanding your attention. These constant demands leave us feeling pressured to multitask, ping-ponging our attention back and forth from one thing to another so that our ability to focus on one consistent thing is severely weakened. But by lunchtime, we have already been inundated with so many demands that our ability to focus on anything is almost depleted. But starting your day at 5 a.m. effectively hotwires your brain so you can maximize your focus. That's all thanks to the concept of transient hypofrontality. So there are certain terms for which we may have to Google the meaning of it. I will be sharing those quickly in the chat after this call. So don't worry about those jargons. So put simply, this means that when you wake up at 5 a.m., your brain's prefrontal cortex, which processes rational thought, is temporarily impaired. So, if like me, you typically start your day being plagued by worries, doubts, and fears, one advantage of getting up at 5 a.m. is the ability to temporarily silence them. And as an added bonus, during this time of your day, your brain is pre programmed to stimulate the production of dopamine and serotonin. These are two important, hormones, both of which will make you happier and give you more peaceful start to the day. And soon after this call, if you have option to go out and put yourself under the sun and get that sunshine, it will work remarkably well for you. So when you minimize unproductive thoughts and negative self talk and replace them with energy, peace, and productivity, it stands to reason that you will enter a natural state of flow in which you are happier and more focused. And if you start your day with that kind of boost, there is no limit to what you can accomplish. But if that's not enough to convince you to forego a few hours of sleep, you might also want to consider this. If you want to be at the top of your game and class yourself amongst the top 5% of the world's elite performers, you have to be willing to make commitments that the other 95% of the world are not willing to make. And most people definitely are not willing to get up at 5 a.m. So if you want a huge competitive advantage, this is a great way to get ahead. Chapter 3 talks about how to be a history maker, and two questions to ponder on is it possible to become immortalized through your success? And do you have to be the most talented person to become successful? So the summary goes like this. There are people who accomplish things, and then there are people who make history and become household names. The later category is comprised of people who set records, break boundaries, and make contributions so significant that they are immortalized through their success. But what's the difference? And what determines the type of success we have? According to our billionaire mentor in the book, a history maker is defined by four areas of focus. And we all have these four areas of focus within ourselves. We don't have to go out and look for it. So, the first is our ability to capitalize on our talents. This doesn't mean that you are the most talented people, but rather that you make the most of what you have. So, instead of comparing your gifts to someone else's and assuming you don't have what it takes, capitalize on the talents you do have and use them to make a difference. The second key area of focus is the ability to free yourself from distractions. And this is especially vital because it's probably the number one problem that holds people back. And whether your distraction comes in the form of social media addiction or a toxic relationship that drains you of your energy, neither of these distractions can remain in your life if you want to be a winner. So, to cultivate a winning worldview, it's crucial that you focus, simplify, and concentrate. So, start by eliminating multitasking from your life and become a purist instead, devoting your attention only to a few key projects instead of spreading yourself thin between loads of little tasks throughout the day. It's also vital that you eliminate distractions. So, take an aggressive spring cleaning approach to the mental clutter of your life. Turn off notifications when it's inhibiting your focus. Cancel activities that don't add joy and value to your life. And most importantly, give yourself a distraction free hour to jumpstart your day by joining the 5 a.m. club. You can start this 5 a.m. club from the comfort of your home by convincing your family members to partner with you. Thirdly, it's also important to understand the power of day stacking. Day stacking means the way you line up your activities. Put simply, day stacking means that accomplish a few small tasks each day is more important than doing a couple of big things once in a while. So, work on strengthening one small skill or ability a little bit at a time each day. If you want to get on top of your email inbox, cultivate a better daily routine or improve your performance in a few little areas. This is the perfect way to do it. And last but not the least, the final key area of focus for history makers is practicing personal mastery. This concept is based off psychologist Ander Erickson's theory that a person must invest 2.75 hours of daily practice in a skill before they reach the level of elite mastery. So, if you want to master yourself and truly become capable of orchestrating a successful future, invest the first 2 hours of each day in working deeply on yourself, your mindset, and your attitude. I will try to quickly cover chapter 4, 5, and 6. So, chapter 4 talks about our four interior empires. And the two questions to think about is, have you attended professional conferences? Mindset isn't everything. Have you thought of Heartset, Healthset, and Soulset? I know this can sound a little bit, too much, but I'll let me simplify this with the help of this summary of this chapter 4. If you have ever attended a professional conferences, chances are that you, like our artist and entrepreneur in this book, have frequently heard that you should work on your mindset. But the billionaire acknowledged that the mindset is actually only one of the four interior empires which require constant attention and personal improvement. And although working on your mindset is great, if that's the only area you focus on, that means you are ignoring the heart set, health set, and soul set. So let's take a look at each of these sets and their roles in our life. First of all, talking about heart set. Our heart is exactly what it sounds like. It is the state of our emotional well being. And because each of our four interior empires are connected, the strength and stability of our mindset doesn't matter if our heart set is in shambles. And even though Sigmund Freud has largely been discredited, he was right when he asserted that unexpressed emotions will never die. It remains inside of us. They are buried alive and they will come forth later in uglier ways. So, if you consider that truth and impact that emotional instability can have on your life, it follows naturally that when you develop your emotional well being, you are laying the foundation for a healthier, more stable life across the board. Next is health set. Our health set is also important because, as you might imagine, we are pretty limited by what we can accomplish if we are in a poor health. So, commit to your future success by taking care of yourself in the present and make a commitment to boost your health and productivity by pursuing exercise. The physical and emotional benefits of exercise are well documented. You will find it everywhere on internet and around you. But it doesn't hurt to be reminded that exercise can increase the flow of positive hormones and reduce stress, both of which can greatly benefit our personal life and career. And last but not the least, it is crucial that we also focus on our soul set. Think of our soul set as our spirituality or what keeps us centered. By focusing on our soul set, we'll be able to connect with the truest version of ourselves and relinquish our ties to the temporal and superficial elements of everyday life. Getting up at 5 a.m. can help with this too, because this early start will give you a window of clarity and opportunity which you can use to reflect on what you have to offer to the world. There is a formula given in chapter 5. The title of this chapter says 20-20-20 formula. And the two questions that I have put together is, what is the perfect way to optimize our productivity? And what is this 20-20-20? So let's understand. So now that we have learned about our four interior empires, let's take a look at some practical everyday strategies we can use to develop them. Although getting up at 5 a.m. might sound like a magic cure all, nothing could be farther from the truth. In fact, unless you use that time to be productive and take actionable steps towards personal improvement, 5 a.m. will be no different from any other hour you could get up. Instead, as you have probably guessed, the truth is that the real magic lies in how you use that time. And the Billionaire's 20-20-20 method is the perfect way to optimize that productivity. So, operating on the principle that you should use 20 minutes to move, 20 minutes to reflect, and 20 minutes to grow. This method taps into each of our four inner empires and helps us strengthen them for a healthy start of the day. So, first start by engaging in 20 minutes of vigorous exercise. I know that's probably the last thing you want to do at 5 a.m., but remember what we talked about earlier about how our brain is free of inhibitions and stresses at this hour. The good news is that if we can spring out of bed at 5 a.m., we'll sort of get a chance to catch our brain off guard before it's awake enough to remind you that you don't like exercising at 5 a.m. So take advantage of that opportunity and concentrate on moving vigorously enough to really work up a sweat. You want to specifically ensure you are sweaty because sweat decreases the cortisol or fear hormone in your brain and generates the protein BDNF, which promotes the formulation of new neural connections. This means that just 20 minutes of active sweating can actually program your brain to think faster, which will enhance your productivity for the day. Once you have done that, use the little window of time between 5:20 to 5:40 a.m. as a time of deep reflection and solitude. Before your day is flooded with conflicting pressures and distractions, take a few moments to reflect on what's most important to you and use this time of reflection to center your focus on top priorities. Once you have taken about 10 minutes to reflect, use the remaining 10 minutes to write down your thoughts in a journal. Document your ambitions, fears, frustrations, and the thing you are grateful for in a journal. As you do so, envision yourself surrounding these stresses to the paper and removing their weight from your own heart and mind. After you have finished writing, use your remaining few minutes to meditate. Studies show that meditation also helps to reduce fear. So if you start your day by engaging in two activities that decreases your fear hormones, you'll have a doubly fearless start to your day. Meditating on the new insight we have gained through our reflecting and journaling can also help us to feel calmer and more centered, and we'll be able to carry this sense of peace with us throughout our day. Now it's time to use the last 20 minutes of our morning's first hour. This is the time for growth. So take this 20 minutes to learn something. Whether you are listening to a podcast that stimulates thought, reading a biography, or learning something new about business, psychology, or innovation, we can tailor our learning experience to the interest that most benefits us and our career. Keep in mind that every successful history maker is also defined by their love of learning and commitment to growth. Don't be, blinded by those glorified stories of school dropouts. That's a different topic. And without investing your time in learning, there is nothing that we can achieve. So dedicate yourselves to spending 20 minutes of each morning in pursuit of knowledge. So there you have it. This method not only provides you with a ready-made perfect morning routine, it also shows you how to unlock the full potential that accessible to any member of the 5 a.m. club. The chapter 6 talks about embracing sleep. And this is the last chapter of this book, where the two questions to think of is your biological clock set to wake you up by 5 a.m.? And you will get there by practice. Is all your work, no play, is all work, no play mentality really good? So the concept of, working hard workers, etc., is that really good? So let's look at the summary of this chapter to understand. So a system which asks you to get up at 5 a.m. probably doesn't sound like one which prioritizes sleep. But in fact, a good night's sleep is integral to achieving life-changing results with the 5 a.m. club. Because as the billionaire in this book explained to these new proteins, research has shown that sleep is one of the key factors at play when it comes to predicting life expectancy. And how you spend the last hour of your day is every bit as crucial as the way you spend your first hour. If you're like pretty much everybody today, you know that whether you are a working professional, a student, or a parent, we are all sleep deprived. Studies show that technology can be pinpointed as the primary source of our sleep deprivation, especially given that the blue lights produced by our phones and TVs, our favorite devices to look at before we go to sleep, reduce this hormone called melatonin, which is precisely the chemical that promotes sleep. If we if our body stimulate this hormone enough, we don't have to take sleeping pills. So in order to cultivate healthy sleep patterns, leading sleep research advocates disconnecting from your tech devices no later than 8 p.m. Doing so will help you achieve a better quality of sleep and feel truly well rested by your 5 a.m. wake up time. However, sleeping isn't the only way to rejuvenate yourself. Another great strategy the billionaire in the book recommends for maximizing our performance is something called the twin cycle of elite performance. And here is how it works. Rather than burning yourself out with prolonged periods of frantic productivity where you try to accomplish everything that needs to be done, oscillate between periods of passionate work and deep renewal to bring balance to your life. By intentionally dedicating your time to relaxation as well as work, you are recognizing the value of mental health and optimize your potential. And as you make active efforts at self care, you minimize the potential for burnout, thus giving yourself room to grow in both a performance phase and a recovery phase. However, that may be difficult for some of us to accept. Those who operate on all work, no play mentality, like entrepreneur in the story, might struggle with the necessity of slowing down and taking time off. So each character in this book teaches us something, and we may be able to relate to that persona. We might even feel guilty when we are not working, as we are using our time for less worthy things. But if we remember the value of tending our interior empires, we can recognize the necessity of balance and cultivate a healthier life. Coming to the final summary, that is chapter 7. So owning the first hours of our morning is critical to unlocking the potential for each day. So if you want to boost your creativity and optimize your productivity, make a habit of getting up at 5 a.m. each day and using that first hour to follow the 20-20-20 method so you can jumpstart your day. And last but not the least, in this picture, you can see the 10 tactics of lifelong genius, which I have also posted in the chat previously. And in order to track your habit of waking up early, you can sign up for the free habit tracker, which I shared in my yesterday's call. I'll reshare the link to that app. It is completely free and it is very simple to use. So the 10 tactics of a lifelong genius is the tight bubble of total focus, the 90-90-1 rule, 60-10 method, the daily 5 concept, the second wind workout, the 2 massage protocol, traffic university, dream team technique, weekly design system, and 60-minute student. So by following this, I believe you will be able to achieve the best for yourself. And thank you so much for joining today's session. I hope the summary of this book uh, has been able to provide you some inspiration and some more reasons of why waking up early, has its own advantages. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day ahead. Bye bye.